Good afternoon, YouTubers. Welcome back into another edition of Astros Recap. David Artis back here. It's Monday afternoon, 2:07 p.m. It is April 12th, 2024. So usually I do this Sunday, especially for an afternoon game. Didn't work yesterday. Just got back from Boston. A few things I want to talk about, though, before I actually talk about the Astros specifically. One, I think I've noticed something about the mic issues, and I bring this up every week. I know it gets tiring, but it's been a struggle. The fan that I use, so I don't use this fan right here because it's distracting. I bring in a fan that I use in my room that I can just plug in here. But when that's blowing, I think that messes with the mic, and that's the issues I think I've had. So I've turned things, I've checked it. I think this sounds pretty good. So hopefully the mic and the quality, because it's been a struggle for a number of these podcasts, especially here. At the radio station, there is no fan. I mean, it's nice and cool inside the room I'm at, and things go well there, but hopefully things sound good. And as I'm on that topic, I do want to change these. I want to get away from this camcorder, this mic. I work at a radio station. I can use the equipment there, and all that equipment's perfect quality, so I'm also thinking about Spotify as an option if I change podcasts, so I just wanted to throw that out there. I think I've mentioned that in the past, but I think it's important to point that out. But as soon as I can figure out how to get things to work the way I want them to, it might go back to just straight audio and Spotify. So I wanted to throw that out there just to keep you updated. But if and when that comes an official thing, I will definitely make sure I get that out there. But it's been just a complete mess, I feel like, with this and the audio and every week. So the Astros actually play here. It's a weird start time, 5:50. So I wanted to start this, get this out there, at least with 3 hours to spare here. So it's, sometimes I take my time, be more on around 2:33, but tried to start a little earlier. I will be hot. My face might turn red because I have no air in this room right now, so it's kind of hot. I can already feel it. Another thing, I did get back from Boston yesterday afternoon. So we left Thursday, got there Thursday night, went to Friday's game, Saturday's game, had a good time. So that was fun. And Astros had a great week. I mean, they swept the Red Sox in all three games. They lose. They really should. They should have gone 6-0 this week if they didn't blow the Monday game against the Rangers, where they went to extras and they had a one-run lead and they needed one out, and Caleb Ferguson blew it. So, Ferguson's first, I think he's had 3 or 4 outings, I want to say now, because I think he got in the game yesterday. 2 of the outings, the ones where he's been good, have been in, games that I think were up big in both of those games that he pitched in, so he was good there. The 2 high-leverage situations he's been in, he's struggled. So, again, I didn't know what to. I don't think Ferguson's going to be much of a factor. A spot I couldn't wait to get him out. He pitched in the Friday game in a pretty high-leverage situation. He walked a guy and gave up a base hit. I think he actually struck out a guy, and then a spot was like, all right, you're coming out. Like a spot, I felt I couldn't wait to get him out because it just looked like he was going to blow it like he did Monday. Monday you go in to the 10th inning. It's Ferguson again, and you're up a run. You got a run there in the top half of the 10th. Now they didn't deserve to win this game because the offense was they just couldn't do anything. So, but they were up a run, and you faced 2 switch hitters, and they both turned to hit right-handed because Ferguson's lefty, and he struck them both out. He struck out both. I think it was Robbie Grossman, and I can't think of the other hitter, but he struck both of them out. And then he faces the lefty. I think they brought, the appeal to Ferguson, if there was any, to bring him, making the trade for him, was his numbers against left-handed hitters are good, or were good. So he gets the matchup you want with 2 outs, needing 1 out, and then it's a home run, walk-off. Obviously, the ghost runner at second, and they lose by a run. So Monday was a heartbreaker. And, just everything from losing 2 or 3 to Tampa, being shut out Sunday 1-0, against Tampa, and the offense just being sort of lifeless and dead for, I mean, you can even have it going back to the Pittsburgh series where they lost 2 or 3. They weren't hitting the ball well. The one game they salvaged on Wednesday. Okay, I'm back here. Don't know how this will play out, but let me turn the fan back off. Alright, I don't know how this will play out, but I lost power there for just a second. But I turned the computer, came back on, and hopefully we're good here because I still see the time. So, as I was mentioning, yes, the offense, how bad it was with Tampa Bay, back to the Pittsburgh series. Things weren't going well. I mean, they lost a number of series there with Tampa and Pittsburgh, and I do want to pull up the schedule just so I can give you a better. I mean, there's 2 series, the 2 big series they won. They took 2 or 3 against the Dodgers. They took 2 or 3 against the Mariners out of the All-Star break. But yeah, also the Oakland series, they lost 2 or 3. So yeah, you lost 2 or 3 to Oakland, 2 or 3 to Pittsburgh, 2 or 3 to Tampa. But they bounced back in a big way, 5-1, which really makes up for the 2-4 week prior. Offense finally got going. I felt like they put up 4 runs in the Tuesday game, winning 4-2. That was a Kikuchi. No, that wasn't Kikuchi. That was a Framber. So Framber went 8 2/3 no-hit innings. So he didn't get the no-hitter because Seager hit a 2-run home run. So, but really, the story of that game was mainly Framber. Hader came in to get the final out after he gave up the no-hitter, but Framber's been good. But again, I can't count on Framber Valdez just because I've seen the mental issues. Sometimes he can battle through it. I'm not there on Framber yet. I can't. For him to be an ace, I have to count on him. I can't count on him to be mentally stable. For all of his games, I just can't do it. I mean, I look at the numbers: 11-5, 3.46 ERA. I should be happy with that, right? But for some reason, I'm just not. So, he pitches tonight, so we'll see. When Framber's on, things go well. Hopefully, they took some momentum from that Boston series and they can carry it, on the airplane as they're, in Tampa now. But the offense, Alvarez finally got going, hitting 2 home runs Saturday, another one yesterday. Bregman looks like he might start to turn things on. With Bregman, August is usually his month. It's his month where he, goes on a tear. So, and you still don't have Tucker. I mean, you're dealing with, Yanner's been pretty good. Yanner Diaz hitting 4th. I mean, the ERA is up to 300 for him. Obviously, Altuve. It's always at 300 for him. Bregman's 250, 260. He might have raised it to 260 after yesterday's game. But yeah, I mean, it's and I've talked about this year as well. It's crazy how things change from when you lose to when you win. When you lose, it's like this offense 5 through 9, they all stink, and this guy in the bullpen came, and the next day you win, and it's not even a talking point. It's just crazy. One thing I've noticed more this year, I feel like with the Astros, and this has always been the case, when you win, even when things don't go perfect in a win, they're not talked about. And then they're just so magnified. And it happens instantly, too. It's the next day. It's less than 24 hours. It's like how quickly things are magnified to when they're not, when you're winning to when you're losing. It's crazy to think. And I just feel like that's something I've noticed a little bit more this year than in past years. But yeah, I want to get you some numbers here. So, starting pitching wise, Hunter Brown was great yesterday. He's been on sort of. He had that one bad start in Minnesota. He gave up like 6 or 7 runs, but that was the one bad start. Like his last, it feels like 15 starts or whatever it's been, maybe 10 starts. He's been great. I mean, I trust him more than I do Valdez. I'll say that. Like if I was starting a game 1, I know it's going to end up being probably Framber Valdez in a game 1. But if you're asking me personally, I'd probably rather. I think Hunter Brown could pitch game 1 and be just as good, if not better. But 10-7 the ERA, and he crept back under 4 at 3.96. He did struggle a little bit there. In the 6th inning, pitch count got up on him. He sailed through the first 5 like nothing. He was striking out guys. But the 6th inning got to him, and they got him out. They brought in Ferguson, and he gave up an inherited runner, but then got a double play ground ball. So, in the offense, I mean, you had they scored their first run on a wild pitch. Bregman had a big 3-run shot. Alvarez followed up. They went back to back. Pena hit a home run. Diaz had a 2-run double. So, I mean, runs. Yesterday was a very easy, fun game. Saturday, I was there. They were up 5-2. Alvarez hit 2 home runs. Zach DeZinzo hit his first home run. So, DeZinzo's a guy who's been getting a lot of starts here lately. So yeah, this entire past week, it's been DeZinzo getting a lot of the starts, and we haven't seen a whole lot of Singleton, which, yeah, I'm for that. I think I want to see DeZinzo play more, because I think he's a guy next year that probably takes over at third base if Bregman's not back. And I don't care how well Bregman plays. I hear the chatter on Twitter. I don't see it being done. I don't see him coming back next year. And DeZinzo would probably be, or he's been talked about as the guy that would take over at third. He's playing first now, but he's a guy that can play the corner infield spots. But yeah, big home run for him. Alvarez hit 2. All their runs scored on home runs in this game. So, but Arrighetti, also a big story. He probably was the story. 7 innings, 2 runs. Abreu struggled a little bit there in the 8th, and then the leadoff double there in the 9th. The Astros worked around it. Hader gets the save. Broke the record. Now, this is sort of this record doesn't mean a whole lot to me. It's kind of a cool thing to have, but Hader, after blowing his first save opportunity of the year, has now converted 25 straight, and that is a record. Astros 25 straight save opportunities converted for him. Look at the numbers; they're not terrible. I don't like the home runs. I don't like him pitching in tie ball games. But 3.68, that's not a good ERA for a closer. I just don't. I mean, the WHIP is actually under 1 at .99, and 78 strikeouts in 51 innings is also a good number, but the ERA needs to go down. So, and a lot of the save chances that he's also like, I feel like a majority of the saves are in games where the Astros have a little bit of a cushion, where there's 2-3 runs. So all save statistic is kind of a weird stat. I mean, if you come into a 3-run game and you give up 2 runs but get the job done, that counts as a save. So I just think and he's had a lot of those games where he's not necessarily perfect or whatever. But he did get the job done after the leadoff double there on Saturday. Friday's game, they were down early. Altuve, big 2-run shot to tie the game. Yanni had the big home run. Presley, another guy I'm concerned about, gave up another run. In the 9th inning, they had a 5-run lead going into the 9th inning there, so his run didn't really kill the team, so to speak. But still, it's every time Presley comes in. And it's 3 straight games where he's given up single runs. So he doesn't get out there and get absolutely crushed, but he just walks guys, base hits. He just can't seem to. He's not the same guy. He's just not. And the Astros have another year of Presley, unless they try to deal him in the offseason, whatever it might be, but they're on the books another year. He had the vesting option, I believe, similar to Verlander. Of course, as a reliever, if there's an inning threshold you need to get to, it's a lot easier, obviously, for a reliever than a starter. And Presley's been healthy all year. Verlander's been hurt most of the year. So, but yeah, his thing vested, so he's on the books next year. I mean, again, it's tough with the back end of the bullpen. They've had pockets of goodness. I've liked Brian Abreu of late. I know he struggled Saturday, but was able to, they won the game. Yeah. Hader's okay, I guess. I like him. I like the ERA to be under 3, obviously. And Presley, I just don't trust him right now. Presley and Ferguson are 2 guys in the bullpen. Like Caleb Ward, I like what he's been able to do as he's back up. Brian King, I feel like has been good, and as a lefty, I think left-handed reliever, he's been very good. But yeah, I mean, I go up and down things, and yeah, the offense is hitting. I feel like you're getting some production. Bottom half of the order, Pena, DeZinzo's now in there. We'll see if he gets the start again today. But yeah, I talked about, I want to get some numbers, I didn't even get there. Yeah, Myers still 230, not good. Dubon, Pedro Leon hasn't done anything since being called up. So the back end of the lineup is still rough. But when you got Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez, and Diaz doing their things, that's usually good enough. So, but yeah, Pena's hitting 270. I can't be upset with Pena. I know he's been sort of hot and cold this year. I started the season, was great the first month and a half, average over 300, and then he had a bad either June or July, whatever it was. But I can't be upset with now the OPS number at 709 isn't very good, but the 273 average is, so I can't be upset. The Zenzo, it's still small, 238, but the Myers 230 average is the one that bothers me with the 682 OPS. Like Alvarez is hitting 307, has a 956 OPS. It's the best in the lineup by a pretty wide margin, because I'm looking up and down. No one else is at 800, and he's at 956. Altuve is a 798, so he's close, and that's because Alvarez, when he is productive, he's hitting home runs and he's driving in runs. So that's why that OPS number goes up. Pena's not so much. Bregman's right, 260, so you got the average up to 260, 754 OPS. That's about average, I think. I think this OPS number is such a big, I've never really gotten into it. I think I'm starting to a little bit more, but I never was an OPS guy, and it didn't used to be this big stat until a few years ago, and now it's like the stat everybody looks at. What's your OPS? What's your OPS? And I just, I've never really gotten on board with that. Dubon, 255, that's dropped. I mean, he was close to 300, but he's getting starts every day now, I feel like. I think his starts at first have gone down, but they like to put him in the outfield. They like to make sure he's in the lineup somewhere, so, which is fine. But again, Dubon's best suited as a utility guy. But I basically covered most of the things. Offense got going. Wednesday scoring 6 runs. Kikuchi was good again. That's important to point out now. And again, I've said this and I'll continue to say it. This trade for me will be sort of graded on how Kikuchi pitches the rest of the year. 2 starts, both have been pretty good. Got the win in the start too. Didn't get as far. I mean, you'd like them to get a little further. I think it was 5 2/3 his first start, 5 1/3 this one, but 200 runs in both. He's striking out guys. 2 starts so far. The trade, at least from the Astros and Kikuchi standpoint, has been good. I don't think you can deny that. I mean, he's probably got 8 more starts this year if everything goes according to plan. Now, they might go 6-man rotation when Verlander comes back, and speaking of Verlander, he should be back actually within, only about 2 weeks. He'll get one more start. Had his first rehab start Saturday. Don't care about the numbers as long as he feels good and feels fine for the start. That's what I'm most concerned about. And I haven't heard anything bad about it, so he'll get one more probably another week this weekend, and then he might be back, 2 weeks, really. This is what I'm thinking. So, that would be nice to get him back, and I think when he gets back, they will keep everybody. They'll pencil him in somewhere in between somebody, but they'll continue to go with the 5 plus Verlander 6-man rotation, and they've been wanting to do that. It's just they haven't had healthy starting pitching arms. So, but yeah, it's good to see Verlander working his way back again. No news on Garcia. I don't know if he's even throwing. He's probably not. Obviously, McCullers is done for the year. Tucker, good update on him. Before, real quick, going back to Kikuchi, he will get probably 7 to 8 more starts this year. So didn't want to lose my train of thought there. But Kikuchi will get 6, 7, 8 more starts this year. And after all those, hopefully they continue to go as well as they're going. You'd like him to go a little bit deeper, get through the 6th inning. But again, I can't be upset. Yeah, I mean, the alternative, if it wasn't Kikuchi, was Jake Bloss, and I just don't know. I think Bloss got sent to the minors for Toronto, which is where he belongs in the minors to continue to get better. And I think Bloss will be a good pitcher one day. I just don't think it's now. So that's that. Again, he was drafted last year. Keep that in mind. So yeah. My leading out of the start. So Ronel Blanco, it's weird with him. He has not been as good. He's not going deep. I was surprised because he got pulled after 5 innings on Friday? It's 4 or 5. He didn't go very deep at all. But I didn't think he had labored a whole lot. And then I look up and he went 4 innings, but he threw 90 or 88. I should look at the right. 88 pitches. And they're trying to sort of manage the workload. So if he's in the 80s, 90s, they're not going to let him go a lot further. But the bullpen roll call was good in that game. For the most part, Presley was the one exception. One of those innings got dicey there in the 8th because Ferguson came in, walked a guy, gave up a base hit. But like Brian King, I give him credit. I think Brian King's been good. You have to give him a lot of credit. I'm trying to pull this box score up here. But yeah, Brian King pitched to scoreless 5th. Caleb Ort came in. He actually got the win. He got 4 outs. Struck out 3 of those 4 outs, too. They brought in Ferguson there, who only got out. This is in the 7th inning. So Ort got the first out. Then a spot on one to play the matchups brought in Ferguson, who only got 1 out. It was a strikeout, but that was after he gave up a walk and a single. And at this point, the game's still tight. It's like 4-3, 5-3, something like that. But Taylor Scott came in. Guy got the out. He also walked a guy. So I don't like that. But he did get a strikeout to get out of the inning. So, and Taylor Scott's numbers, he's the one guy that sort of will find him. I think he's more of a matchup guy. He's not really the 7th, 8th, 9th guy. But if they need a bridge to get there, if a guy doesn't go deep like Blanco on Friday, they'll feel comfortable using Taylor Scott in a more leveraged spot. But he's got a 1.81 ERA, 7-3 on the year, 56 strikeouts, 54 and 2/3 innings, 1.04 WHIP. Look at that, crazy look at the 1.81 ERA this year. Lifetime ERA, 5.10. So this might be some sort of anomaly, but continue to do your thing, Taylor Scott. Brian Abreu pitched the 8th, walked a guy, gave up a hit, so he wasn't necessarily solid, but got through it. And then Presley, obviously, 2 walks, a hit, an earned run. That's who he is. That's what he's been. Yeah. I've talked about everything I've wanted to. I've given the Tucker update. So I get back to that train of thought. He joined the team in Tampa. He's close. I think they want him to run bases this week, and I think that's the last step. If he can start to sprint, he's been jogging. I think things have gone. He's starting to get there. It's been a long, long process, but I think he's finally starting to get to a point. If he can sprint, things go well. I think the rehab assignment will start, and it should be about a week just to get the timing back. It's not like a starter where you got to start a game, wait 5 days, and then start again. You'll play every day, and hopefully he's back, and we get them both back by the end of August at the latest. That way they can get a month under their belt. And I think if Verlander's here healthy, and Tucker's here healthy, and you got everybody you got, I think this team's as good as it can be, and I think that's good enough to make another deep postseason run. There'll be things that need to be addressed in the offseason. Comes to first base. What happens with Bregman? I think they need outfield help as well. because you can't count on Jake Myers or Chas McCormick to hold down one of those outfield spots. You try to get. There's a lot that needs to be done in the offseason, but you have to work with what you got right now. And sounds crazy, but I think this team would be good enough if we can get Verlander back, we get Tucker back, and things stay basically what we've been watching. They've been good without these guys. So, I mean, for the most part, I mean, you know, it'd be nice to have these guys in the lineup. Well, when I say Tucker and Verlander. But, yeah. Got 3 with Tampa, another off day Thursday, and then they come back home. Got 3 with the White Sox, 3 with the Red Sox, and then back in on the road. Baltimore, Philly, Kansas City. Look at the schedule. I mean, the White Sox is the easy series, but those never seem to be that easy for some reason. Actually, would rather the Astros play stiffer competition. I think that makes they're better against teams that are at least good. I play down to a level of bad teams for some reason. But yeah, we'll wrap things up there. Now I've gone sort of long. Went into a lot, but I'll wrap things up there. We'll talk to you most likely. I will be back at the radio. Sunday will be the goal. We'll see you then.